Welcome to Tank Time with Tom, everyone. Remember last week we all showed you how our eggs hatched into Alevin? Anybody take a guess as to how many eggs we had? Well, there were 58 eggs total, or at least that's what I counted. So if anybody counted any different, let me know. But we've got 58 Alevin in there. And in the wild, the mother steelhead could lay up to 2,000 eggs in what's called a red, which is a little pocket in the gravel, okay? And right now, the Alevin are just pretty much hanging out in the gravel. So here we are at the tank, and it's about 53 degrees, and you don't see a whole lot of activity. And why is that? Because these little guys, these little Alevin, they're huddled towards the bottom of the tank. They're hiding. There's a lot of them in the rocks, behind the rocks and little nooks and crannies. Every once in a while you can see a little tail poking out there. There's one right in the center of the screen. And there's a few underneath those rocks, kind of hard to see. There's a tail poking out there. But a lot of the activity we've been focusing the camera on this week is this lower right side of the tank. So I'm gonna hang out there for just a second so we can take a closer look at those. Now they're starting to look a little bit more like fry. Notice the egg sac is getting smaller. Okay, we're gonna talk a little bit about that, okay? We don't have any predators in the tank, but someday they'll be big enough to compete with larger fish. But they still have to hide from predators in order to survive in the wild. So they have these special body parts or adaptations that allow them to survive in the wild. Okay, for one, the most obvious is the mouth. Okay, we all have mouths. Our dogs have mouths. The fish have mouths. But for now, at this stage in the Alevin development, the mouth is used to move water through the gills to help absorb oxygen. Okay, they get their food by absorbing nutrients from their yolk sac. It's kind of like a storage tank or belly pack full of food. But once that yolk sac is completely absorbed, they'll be on the hunt for food and will be eating bugs and plants through their mouth. Now the other thing that'll happen in a week or two, as they absorb that yolk sac, the fish have what's called an air sac, and they'll use their mouth to gulp air as they swim to the top of the tank. And that air sac will fill up with water, and it'll allow them to float without using too much energy to swim around and stay on the top of the water. And when they want to go down, they burp out the air and they go down to the bottom of the tank. That's something that's pretty interesting. There's also eyes. It's pretty obvious. If you can zoom in there, this guy, you can see they've got eyes, which help them see light and look out for predators. And once they've buttoned up or absorbed that yolk sac, they'll swim upwards and head toward the light, and they'll start swimming around and looking for food and exploring other hiding places a little bit more. Their color helps them a lot. In fact, some of these rocks are the same color as the fish, so they're camouflaged. And they're hiding from other fish and birds and other prey or other predators that are on the hunt for these little guys. Okay, the tails and the fins allow them to move and swim around. At this point, you can see, yeah, their fins are moving. This guy is a little active, but I've seen him move around, and they actually move quite well, even though that belly sac is still attached. Then the gills are there. They help to move oxygen. Actually, the mouths help to move the oxygen through their gills, and the gills allow them to absorb oxygen into their bodies. Pretty cool. Okay, we'll take another pass through here. You can see that guy hiding out. They've got some great hiding places in here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.